5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Happy Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. How y'all doing on this Sunday? It's your boy Mike D, aka DDE80, aka 13th Wonder of the World. And happy Sunday to all of y'all. God bless y'all. God keep y'all. Thank God for y'all. Thank God for everything that's going on. Thank God for just living and breathing and being in good health and strength. As long as your eyes open and as long as you got breath in your body, you are a blessing to God because He's allowing you to breathe good air to be back on this earth, to stay on this earth, Shout out to the Point Place family. Shout out to Bobby Reezy. Shout out to M. Breezy. Shout out to Naya, my sister. I love all y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in to The Point of View, which is on Podbeam as well as YouTube. And I want to give a shout out to my boy Boski, man. Boski gave me a comment along with my sister, along in the comments of The Point of View. And I just want to say thank y'all. And I appreciate y'all. It don't matter if it's just a little bit of y'all. It doesn't matter if only like 8 of y'all view it. I appreciate y'all very much. I love all y'all for just listening to me as I try to make this thing a little better, make this thing a little bigger, and have a bigger platform to where I can actually view y'all on camera and talk to y'all about this on camera, as well as me doing some semi-casts with some of my people. Now, there was a semi-cast I did with DJ Fadeaway, and I'm trying to post it, but right now it's not being posted right now. So if I can't get it posted within the week, then me and him are going to do another one because he don't mind doing it. And for those of you that don't know who Fadeaway is, that's actually my cousin. He's my big cousin, but he's also my best friend. And my sister know him as Mike. That's our blood. So I appreciate him for spending time with me, man. That's like one of my best friends in the world. But he's also my cousin, but he's my best friend. And so one of my best friends. And so, me and him did a semi-cast a while back, and I'm trying to get it posted, but it's not letting me post it. But if that's not the case, then me and him will do another one. You know what I'm saying? I also trying to get one done with me and Reezy, Bobby Reezy as well. Getting soon into second half of the NBA season. I did not know that LeBron was not playing in the All-Star in the All-Star game tonight. He's still suffering with the foot and ankle injury. But I do want to talk about there's a couple of things I want to talk about tonight on The Point of View. First of all, I want to give a shout out to all the winners that won championships on both shows last night. I'm talking about in wrestling on WWE, NXT, and as well as AEW. First, I want to give a shout out to AEW's Toni Storm for becoming the first ever 4-time AEW Women's Champion. She beat Mariah May, the girl that beat her last year, and it was turned by fair play. Toni Storm came back and took back her title. So Toni Storm now is a 4-time AEW Women's Champion. And I appreciate, the talent that those girls have over there. And besides her, there was no other championship matches that changed hands. I will talk more about wrestling tomorrow as well. But also I want to give a shout out to the NXT people. Stephanie Vickers became the NXT Women's North American Champion. She defeated Fallon Henley. I want to say her name right. And I also want to congratulate her on that. I did watch NXT, and I'm very shocked that they have a new group out there attacking people. it's kind of like a retribution slash Shield point 2.0 situation, because that's the way it's looking. And they went out there and they took out the tag team champions. They took out the challengers, and then they took out the NXT champion Oba. So we're going to see what happens when these guys come through and try to take over NXT. This is another version of the Shield. So we'll see what happens with that. Trick lost to Eddie Thorpe in the strap match. I think that it's time for Trick to go to the main roster. And I think that's what that is. I think Roxanne, it's time for her to go to the main roster, because she also lost. And, you know, I just don't know what else is happening. You guys, I'll be right back. Somebody's knocking on the door. I'll be right back. But they were with, I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. They were with the Shield 2.0. Again, I was talking about that. I was also talking about who needs to go back, get ready, for the main roster. And it looks like it's going to be Roxanne. It could be Fallon, and it could be Trick heading to the main roster, because those three were rumored to start wrestling on the main roster. I think Roxanne Perez's main roster debut starts tomorrow on Raw, because she's going to be in the Elimination Chamber qualifying match against Raquel Rodriguez. I think Raquel Rodriguez is going to lose, and I think, and I want to say this with all due respect to Raquel, because Raquel is championship material, but they're using her as a buffer for Liv Morgan. So I will say this, and I will say this with nothing but respect. I do believe she's going to lose tomorrow. I think Roxanne is going to win. Pop Rocks is going to pop rock tomorrow, and she will be a part of the Elimination Chamber. She probably will not win, but it's going to be interesting to see. Now, Friday on SmackDown, then I'll go to the NBA and talk about the All-Star Weekend so far, as I'm looking at the All-Star Game tonight as well, with the tournament they have between Team Chuck, Candace, Shaq, and Charles Barkley. Their teams are playing. The two teams that win will face off to play for the win the All-Star Game and to win the All-Star Tournament in Oakland. But let me go back to wrestling for a minute. Let me talk about something on wrestling. Now, Friday, when I did the Point of View Friday, I said that they were going to have more matches signed. They need to put, and I said one person that was probably not going to be involved with the Elimination Chamber, and that was Tiffany Stratton. Well, now the truth has come out. Tiffany Stratton will be in a tag match with Trish Stratus, the WWE Hall of Famer, to go up against Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. And people are wondering why they're having this match. Well, let me tell you why they're having this match. Number one, Trish Stratus is so over to the point now that she gets used in matches like these. She's not fighting for a title unless she decides to go up against Chelsea at WrestleMania, which could happen, because I think that Trish is not just going to be in this one-off match. I think Trish is back to have a late WrestleMania push, because you got to remember, folks, 19 years ago, almost 20 years ago, Trish Stratus retired from WWE in the best shape as ever. She was in shape. She was on top of the game. And when she won the title in her last match, that made her one of the greatest women champions of all time, until Charlotte Flair came and eclipsed Trish. So now, as you see now, because she's a Hall of Famer, she's been in the Hall of Fame for 10 years now, WWE Hall of Fame for 10 years. In wrestling, you could come back at any time and wrestle since you're in the Hall of Fame. But that does not mean that you're going to have a full run like Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio is having an excellent run since he's been in the Hall of Fame. But I understand why they're doing it. It's not only in Toronto or hometown, but it's also to help keep Tiffy Time as a babyface. That's the reason why they're doing it, because they're making her a babyface right now. Now, when the heelish tendencies come, probably after the match, you might see her try to jump on Trish or something like that. But I doubt that. I think they're gonna ride it out. Bianca and Naomi are going to go to Raw to confront Liv and Raquel, because they showed a video of them being on the scene when Jade got injured, taken out. Man, I still believe it's either Bianca or Naomi, man. Because usually when they do these storylines, it usually be the person that's close to them that does it. The Shawn Michaels Triple H situation. The Carmelo Hayes Trick Williams situation. This is going to be another one of those situations. Now, if Naomi is guilty of doing that, they've got to counter and market that situation that she's going to have. Because she's going to be one of the biggest heels, one of the biggest women heels on SmackDown. Even if Bianca is guilty of the situation of taking out Jade, guess what happens? Bianca becomes one of the biggest heels in the business. Biggest women heels in the business. You want to know why? Because the Street Profits right now are two of the biggest heels in the business of professional wrestling, because they're not getting notoriety, they're not getting their shine, and they feel like that this was supposed to have been a push, a heel push that they were supposed to do last year with Bobby Lashley, but Bobby Lashley ended up leaving WWE to go to AEW. So now they're sticking with it, because you see what's happening now. You see B-Fab is not with them right now. B-Fab is on her own journey trying to be a champion. And I hope that she becomes a United States champion or something, because B-Fab deserves it just as well as Selena Vega. She deserves it. But it's going to be interesting to see. Kevin Owens is going to fight Sami Zayn at the Elimination Chamber. They're not going to have that match at WrestleMania. That's a big shocker. Now the question is, where does Sami Zayn go at this year's WrestleMania? Does he have a match that is a showcase match, or what kind of match Sami Zayn's going to be in? Because you've got to have a match with him. He has capitalized on the last two WrestleManias. There's no way that Sami Zayn does not have a title match or a match at Survivor Series. That's not, or make him the WrestleMania host. Now, it's got to be something for Sami. Sami's got to have something, because if you're making the match between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn at the Elimination Chamber, there's no way you're going to have Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn again at WrestleMania unless they want to duke it out. No. What's going to happen is, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you what's going to happen. They've already spoiled it. Randy Orton is supposed to be fighting KO at WrestleMania in a grudge match. That's what's going to happen. Guess what? Drew McIntyre does not have a WrestleMania match. Drew McIntyre is not going to win the Elimination Chamber. He's not going to win that. He's out of it. It's going to come down to John Cena or CM Punk. One of those two are going to win the Elimination Chamber match, and they will wrestle Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. Now, let's talk about something else. Jimmy Uso. Can Jimmy Uso can he beat, listen to me very closely, can he beat Drew McIntyre next week? Yes, he can. Will he beat him? I don't know, because they're still marketing Drew as a high draw. And what I mean by that, they're still marketing him to be over. And he's over with the fans, even though he's a heel. So Big Jim needs that win more than Drew McIntyre. Because even if Drew loses, that does not take no sweat off his back. Because that does not make him lesser than the person that he is in the ring. His momentum is still going to be hot. So we'll see what happens with that as well. Also, ladies and gentlemen, the United States title is going to be LA Knight versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I think this is the third time they're fighting, fourth time or something like that. And I think that LA Knight, if this match is at the Elimination Chamber, I think that LA Knight could possibly win the title back, ladies and gentlemen. I think Shinsuke Nakamura is going to be just fine if he loses the United States title. But I think LA Knight needs to have that, because let me tell you what could possibly happen. Let me tell you what I think could happen. Suppose LA Knight wins, because this is what I'm thinking could possibly happen. LA Knight wins at Elimination Chamber whenever him and Shinsuke Nakamura fight again. Listen to me closely. WrestleMania comes around and you have a match. You have a match between Drew McIntyre and LA Knight for the United States title. You don't think that's marketable? That's absolutely marketable, because here's why. Those two have friction with each other. They made it out. They worked it out. They made up and worked it out. But guess what? You know what Triple H is looking at? You know what Nick Khan's looking at? You know what The Rock is looking at? How can we capitalize on that? We can capitalize on that by putting Drew McIntyre versus LA Knight and make a United States title match out of it. And that would be great, because that would be a whole new avenue that Drew McIntyre could go down. He could become the United States champion again. I think he was the United States champion before, or the Intercontinental champion won. I think he was the IC champion. I don't think he won the United States title. But anyway, with that being said, I think that he would become a great heel United States champion if they wanted to go that route with Drew. Because that's a title I don't think he has ever held. He should be in the upper mid card of the show, of SmackDown, if I'm him. So that could be a situation that they can make happen, or put Shinsuke versus Drew versus LA Knight at Mania. You never know. You still got options out there. You have 64 days left before WrestleMania, and you still have all the potential matches in the world that you can make happen. And if I'm WWE, that's what I'm doing. I'm making these matches happen, because I want to see the investment in the product. Because that's exactly what it is, folks. It's an investment in the product. It's an investment in everything that is wrestling right now. The consumer is in it. They're enticed. They want to see what's going to happen week by week. They want to see what's going to happen on both shows, on all three shows. So we'll see what happens with that. What else happened on SmackDown? R-Truth versus Carmelo Hayes. Great match. Damian Priest in the Elimination Chamber. He defeated Braun Strowman. Like I said, who was going to take the loss? I told you Jacob Fatu was not going to take the loss. I said that. I told everybody that. And I said it. I said Braun Strowman was going to be the one that was going to be the one to lose. Jacob Fatu and Solo is probably going to fight at WrestleMania. That'd be a great matchup right there, between Solo and Jacob Fatu. And I'm going to tell you why that match is probably going to happen. Because right now, Jacob Fatu is over with the people. People love Jacob Fatu. Even though he's supposed to be a big bad werewolf monster, Jacob Fatu is over with the fans. And because of that, listen to what I'm going to tell you. And because of that, that's why I think you go solo versus Jacob Fatu at WrestleMania. And if Fatu is over, then he beats Solo, and he becomes the best in the business, ladies and gentlemen. That's just me talking. That's just me talking about wrestling. That's just me putting on my GM hat and my booking knowledge. And I think that's exactly what it's going to be, because I do believe that this is exactly what it is that we want to see happen. Now, switching gears, let me switch gears for a minute and talk about, before I switch gears, let me also talk about the tag team division on SmackDown. It looks like it's going to be Pretty Deadly versus DIY. Of course, DIY is going to be Pretty Deadly. But I think they're going to have a 4-way for the tag team title soon between DIY, Street Profits, make it a 5-team. Street Profits, Pretty Deadly, Motor City Machine Guns, and Garza and Alberto. I think that's what we're going to see coming soon, because that's exactly what they need to do to make this happen. And I think that's probably what is going to be in the mix to make it happen, folks. So we'll see what happens with that as we get ready to watch this week what happens on wrestling. Of course, Finn Balor against Seth Rollins. That's tomorrow on Raw as well. So we'll see what happens with that as well in the moving pieces that are going on Netflix Raw. I'm just looking at something, guys. The Mr. Beast challenge here on the All-Star game between this little kid, Jarrett. I think this is a little kid. Jarrett and Dame Lillard. Dame Lillard has 2 and he has 0. So Dame Lillard has an opportunity, I guess, to take out this guy. This is a Mr. Beast challenge. So I'm just looking to see if this little dude can get a shot. This guy can get a shot. Let's see. Let's see if the guy can get a shot. Can he hit a 3-pointer? And he didn't hit it. And Dame Lillard is up for a 3rd, and he has not hit it yet. I think he's taking a little time to make sure this little dude get a shot out first for $100,000, and that's exactly what they're playing for. And Damian Lillard is missing on, I think he's missing, and the little dude got it on the 3rd rip. So the little dude is $100,000 richer. And Shaq and Kenny and all the mascots are jumping in on him and things like that. So congratulations to the little guy. I think it's a little guy. He's a little guy. Is he a little kid? I guess he looks like a little kid. But congratulations to him for winning that $100,000 challenge. Also, I want to give a shout out to Matt McClung for winning the Slam Dunk Contest for the 3rd time. Stephen Castle had some great dunks as well in that thing. Congratulations to Tyler Hero for winning the 3-point shootout. And also congratulations to the Cavaliers for winning the skills challenge. I watched the celebrity game. It was interesting. It was good to see Bailey out there along with Kai Cenat, Drewski, T.O., a couple of people that I really don't know too much about from these shows. But they had an okay celebrity game. Also, we saw Jerry Rice and Barry Bonds. Nobody hadn't seen too much of Barry Bonds in a while, but it was good to see Barry Bonds out there enjoying himself with 2 chains and things like that. But the NBA All-Star Weekend is almost up. And when this is over with, ladies and gentlemen, they're going to kick it back off with the NBA. And I think the NBA starts back on Thursday. And the second half of the season starts now after the All-Star break, after they get that break, which is now, 4 days before they go back to their play again. So what happens after that? Well, they get geared up for the next 30-something games of the season. Now the intensity is on. You're going to see teams play harder just to try to make it into the play-in or make it to the playoffs or try to get their seeds a little higher in the playoffs. Teams like Atlanta and Golden State, who are on the bubble to get into the play-in, you're going to see them try to go harder than what they need to go to try to win. I don't know what's going on with Philadelphia. I do know what's going on with Philadelphia. I don't think they're going to make the play-in. I really don't, because Joel Embiid don't play back-to-back games. New Orleans, and shout out to Fadeaway again, they're just fried this season. Zion don't play back-to-back games as well, and he wants to play back-to-backs, but the Pelicans are not letting him play back-to-backs because he's been so injured. It's good. It's interesting to see what can Memphis, listen to me closely, can Memphis be a high seed team and make something happen? That's the new question. That's another question I have. Can Memphis get to, the Western Conference Finals? Because they have a solid team, man. And I hate to say this, even though Ja Morant is in and out, Ja Morant, ladies and gentlemen, is still one of the best players in the game, folks. So we'll see what happens with that as well as, the moving pieces go along in the NBA as we get ready for playoff season as well as March Madness. Let me talk about some more basketball. Let me talk about South Carolina versus UConn. Me and my boys were watching this game. This game came on at 12 o'clock today. Me and my boys was watching this game. And I want to talk about this for a minute because I want people to understand what I saw today was an embarrassment. Dawn Staley has played 2 back-to-back Sunday games and has been beaten in 2 straight Sundays. South Carolina played against Texas last week. Texas, by the way, came back and beat LSU. Even though LSU was kicking their tails, Texas came back in the 4th quarter and started beating LSU and beat them. Man, let me talk about South Carolina, man. You're the number 2 seed in women's basketball, in women's college basketball. You're playing against a team that has one of the greatest scorers out there in Paige. I don't know her last name. Paige Buckner, Paige Buckets to me. Because that's who I think, that's what I call her. Paige Buckets. Her name is Paige Buckets to me because she gets buckets. That girl can play. She's going to be very, 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 very great in the WNBA when she gets drafted, when she comes out. But today, Paige Buckets wasn't doing anything. It was the rest of the team that destroyed South Carolina. And you can look on the face of Dawn Staley and did not like the plays that was being called and the way that her team was playing. Her team got spanked. The number 2 seed and also the champions, they got spanked today by the Yukon Huskies, the lady version of the Yukon Huskies. I don't care what anybody tells you. I think that this is the year that South Carolina might not hoist that trophy up. I think this is the year that Don Staley might not win, folks. Because, man, I'm telling you what I see. I'm seeing what I see. And you guys got to remember, Juju and them are number one. UCLA is number one. Juju and them are in the mix. So with that being said, with Juju in the mix, along with Page and South Carolina and LSU, even though they lost today, they're still going to be in the mix. Texas is going to be in the mix. I'm looking at these teams and I'm saying to myself, man, which one of these teams got it? Who's going to catch fire at the right time? And I'm telling you right now, Paige Buckets got those girls right, man. And she didn't even do too much today. And even the girl, Booker, that plays for Texas, she wasn't doing too much today until the second half. It was that big, tall girl, that big, tall white girl in the middle. LSU had no way of stopping that girl. And then they took her out and they put another big, tall black girl in there. I don't know their names, but she was in there kicking tail. The center, I think the girl is the center that plays for UConn, was the one that was killing them today. Either the center or the power forward, which one of them it was, but it wasn't Page that killed South Carolina. I'm talking about, I seen straight post play today in both games that literally killed South Carolina and LSU. So now they got to go back to the drawing board and figure out what they're going to do, especially in this situation now that March Madness is right around the corner. And it's a good deal because they play a lot of women's college games on Sundays. So you get to watch that a lot on Sundays now. The NBA is going to start playing back on Sundays as well, but we're going to see a lot of college games on Sundays, women's college games on Sundays too. Now, let me also talk about something else, folks, for a second. The WNBA are going to bring back a Cleveland team in the WNBA. I think the Cleveland Rockers will probably be the team that comes back. I would love for them to bring back the Sacramento Monarchs because Yolanda Griffin was the franchise player of that team, and Yolanda Griffin was able to get that team to the championship. So if you're going to bring back another team, you've got Golden State. You've also got, who's the other team that they got? Golden State. Toronto's going to have a team from what I heard. And you're bringing Charlotte back. I mean, not Charlotte, but you're bringing Cleveland back. So this is going to be interesting. They're doing what they need to do. This is exactly what I said. Now, here's a question that I have. If you're going to do that, why not bring back the Houston Comets? Why not bring back the Tulsa Shock or the Detroit Shock? Because those teams were champions. Why not bring back San Antonio? Those teams there were there. You can. I just don't see. You're saying, oh, we don't have enough money to bring these teams back. I think you do. I think you do. The NBA is a large conglomerate. You don't think for a second that Adam Silver would recommend you guys to bring a team back or make a WNBA women's team? Yes, he would. And with that, let me go on a side note before I get off here. I want to talk about something that's very important. Down here in the South, My condolences goes to over 300 something people that lost their jobs because of a company shutting down. You know, I pray that don't happen with the company I work for. But to hear about it happening to somebody else is surreal. My heart goes out to all those people. Hopefully they can bounce back on their feet. I know that a lot of severance pay is probably going to be out, a lot of bonus pay and things like that. I know a lot of people are going to want to still work. And this is the thing that happens. I hate that it happened, but it happened. You know, and God's there with them no matter what. The Lord is there with them despite the situation that's going down. Let me also talk about something else that makes a lot of sense, folks. And I want to say this. There's a difference when you leave the company, but it's tougher when the company is forcing you out. And that's exactly what happened to these people. They're being forced out their job because the company shut down. And that's a hard thing, and that's a hard pill to swallow. And I hate that for them. I hate that happened. You know, but God's going to bring all them back. All those people that work, the Lord's going to take care of them. There's no doubt about it. The Lord's going to take care of them. Their finances is going to be great. I pray that God, you know, bless them to bounce back. They will bounce back and get back on their feet. You know what I'm saying? I hate that happened, and I don't want that to I don't wish that on nobody. I don't wish that on my company or anybody else's company that is striving to keep money in people's pockets so they can pay their bills and feed their families. So on a side note like that, my prayers are with them, ladies and gentlemen. And with that being said, I'm out. God bless you. God keep you guys. Enjoy the rest of All-Star Sunday. I'll talk to you tomorrow. God bless. God keep.